Well, hello, my algebras. Let's go ahead and go over the practice test for chapter 4, which is due in class next time I see you. So number 1 asks us to see if it is a linear function. And we just need to check to see if it has a constant change in the x values, which it does, and a constant change in the y value. So yes, this is a linear function because it has a constant change in both the x and y values. Number 2 asks us to find the x and y intercepts. And so I make a t-table for that. I solve for the x-intercept when y is 0, and I solve for the y-intercept when x is 0. Moving on to number 3, it asks us to say what the slope is. Well, there is no slope. So that's why it's 0 and the y-intercept is b, because all of the y values are the same number of 7. So this literally looks like if I were going to graph it, if I had 7 on the y-axis, well, it's because if x is 1, 2, 3, or negative 1, 2, 3, it's always 7. That's why it's a no slope. On number 4, there is no y-intercept, right? This would be like a plus 0. And because of that, there is a slope of negative 7 over 4, or you could say 7 over negative 4. It doesn't matter which one. But if I were to graph this, it just means this is not one of those weird undefined or anything like that. It just means that my y-intercept is at 0, right? And then I could go up 7 and over negative 4, or I could go down 7 and over a positive 4, and this line would look something like that, right? But it just has the y-intercept as 0. Number 6, I have to use my slope formula, which is m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 to find my slope. On number 6, when y varies directly with x, we need to remember it's always y over x. And we put in what we know. We know that y is 12 when x is 10, and we have to solve for y when x is 45. This is just a simple proportion question. We cross multiply to solve. So 12 times 45 is 540, and 10 times y is 10y, and we just simply divide by 10. So we get y is 54 when x is 45. And we can write that as a coordinate point. On number 7, as asks us to find the slope of this graph, and because they are only going up by ones, we can go ahead and do rise over run. So I'm going up 3 and over 2. This is my rise and this is my run. So it's 3 over 2. And then it asks me, what does this slope represent? We're talking about how many cups of flour for pizza dough, right? So when I look at this, I see that it takes 3 cups of flour to make 2 crusts. But of course you always want to get it per crust. So that means it's 1.5 cups of flour per crust. On number 8, we use the graph over on the right hand side to check the rise over run, and I'm going up 3 and over negative 2. I also could have said that I went down negative 3 and over a positive 2. Either way, my rise over my run is going to be 3 over negative 2 or negative 3 over positive 2. But it is a negative 3 half slope. And my y-intercept is 3. So then I can write it in y equals mx plus b, because we know the slope and we know the y-intercept, right? Okay, now we get to graphing. Number 9, it is given to us in y equals mx plus b. So I simply start with my b value of -3, and my slope is -2/5. So I could have either chosen to go down 2 and over a +5, or I can go up +2 and over a -5. Either way, it's on the same line. Of course, I use a ruler and include my arrows. On number 10, I could choose to move the 10x over and use x and y intercepts, but I went ahead and just solved for y, dividing everything by 5. So my y-intercept is -5, and my slope is a +2. So I go up 2 over 1, and I just did a few more just to show you that it's a constant slope. And of course I use a ruler, and I include my arrows. Number 11, I solve for y, dividing by 4, and I use my y-intercept of +3. And my slope here is a +3 over 4. Or I could have chose to go down 3 and over going -3 over -4, because a negative over negative is still a positive, obviously shown by that in the graph. Use a ruler and, of course, put your arrows. Number 12 asks me to say what is the parallel slope to any of these lines. And the parallel, remember, it has those two L's, which make it look like parallel lines. And it's the same letter, reminding us that it's the same slope. The rise and the run is the same if it's parallel lines. On 13, it's perpendicular that we're looking for. And on here, we need to find our opposite reciprocal. So first we find the slope on letter A of 1/4. So we flip it over, so it's 4 over 1, and then from positive to negative, so it's -4. And on letter B, it's +1/2. Number 14, it gives us 2 points, and we get to write the y equals mx plus b, the equation of the line represented here. So first I need to find my slope of -2, and then I pick a point. If I chose to pick the first point of 3 over 2, I can substitute in my y minus y1 equals my slope times x minus x1, or my point slope form, because if I'm given a point and a slope, I use the point slope form to solve for y and get it into y equals mx plus b with the correct b value. If I chose to use the second point of 5 over -2, did that down here for you, you can see that it's still the same equation, because it has to be, because these 2 points are on the same line. Right, 15 asks us to write the equation of the line going through a specific point. That's really crucial. That's perpendicular to this original line. So first I identify the slope of the original line, which is -3, and then I do the opposite reciprocal, which makes it a +1/3, and I have the line. I put it into my point slope form, because if I have a point and a slope, I use the point slope form and solve for y, getting y equals 1/3 x minus 23. On 16, we have just a regular question here of a taxi cab is charging $3 per ride, and plus $1.75 per mile. So this $1.75 represents our slope, and we write the equation of the line. The initial fee is $3, with $1.75 for every mile that we drive in this cab. So if we go 5 miles, that means when x is 5, what will y be? And we know y is always the money. So $1.75 times 5 is $8.75, plus 3 more dollars gives us $11.75. In class, we are going to do this chapter 4 study guide, and we'll go over it in class, and then you will again have video solutions. Alrighty, so let's have a great time in class, and make sure you're prepared by completing your practice tests before class. See you soon. Bye.